everyone. Benjamin Lindsay here, managing editor at Backstage. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning for the latest edition of Backstage Live, which of course is part of our ongoing on-camera series called The Slate. As you all know by now, The Slate is our ongoing video series you can watch from anywhere to learn all you need to know about the craft and business of acting from casting directors, industry insiders, actors, and basically everyone involved in the industry, with Instagram takeovers, Q&As, live stream seminars, and interactive group classes. So for more on The Slate, be sure to head over to backstage.com/magazine, where we keep that calendar week to week updated. Today, we're very lucky to be joined by Bresha Webb. She's the star of Starz' new series, Run the World. You've recently seen her in films such as Meet the Blacks, Night School, and A Fall from Grace on Netflix. And she teams here with creator Lee Davenport in a star-making role of Renee, the bold comedic relief of the group whose charisma really does shine through the screen. I'm really excited to speak with her today. It should be a good one. So Bresha, if you're in here, I will send you an invite to jump up on camera, and we can go from there. There we go.
Hi, Benjamin.
Hey, how are you? I'm Ben Lindsay from Backstage. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Congrats on your premiere week for Run the World. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much. I was like trying to request and it kept saying it wasn't going through. It was like,
That's the way it goes sometimes with these digital interviews. So no problem. Just glad that we got it done. Where are you calling in from? Where in the world are you? LA, all right. And I imagine that you're making the press rounds for Run the World.
Yes, I'm so excited. The cast and I are getting together today, and we're like going to see all the billboards.
Oh, so exciting.
Yes, with Lee, who created the show. So this is like, she's landing right now, and she sees like the big building with our whole face on the LAX building. It's like
that's
really
just awesome.
huge. So I'm like, we're just so excited to just share that moment together.
Absolutely, and it's such a great show to be celebrating with each other. How is it that this character Renee first came about for you? Was there an audition process? Were you connected with Lee beforehand? What did that look like?
It was crazy. My manager and team hit me up, and they said that this character Renee was just like me, and I had been waiting for something like that, that just was a lot like me, my personality, and something that I could definitely identify with. And the character description was a Chihuahua in heels. I was like, oh my goodness, I have a Chihuahua. I'm always in heels too. And, just Black women and their friendships, healthy friendships, relationships and all of that. I was just like, gimme. And then when they added fashion and all of that, and then Patricia Field and Yvette Lee Bowser, and I was like, I have to get my hands on it. And so, and my middle name is Renee, which is hilarious.
Okay, so Kismet.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went in, and they were really excited to have me, and I just lost myself in this character, and it was like instant. It was like, oh my God, we've never seen you in this way. We want to see you in this way. And it was just, it was
match made in heaven.
Easy process, but I was nervous. I mean, I did the audition, showed them that I was Renee, and then went to the test, and I was like, I got this in the bag. Like, this is me.
You walk out feeling great. That's what
I did. And then later on that night, I went to this event, and Yvette Lee Bowser and a lot of the Starz execs were there. And it was an amazing moment because I wasn't expecting them to be there. And I was in my whole, like, Renee glory. Like, I'm walking down, and everyone's like, Bresha, oh my God, hey, girl, hey, girl. And they're like, that's our Renee. Here comes our Renee. And I was like,
That's perfect. So it's something like that. I mean, you walk into the room, you feel like this character for the first time in a while is a character that's kind of representative of you. So did it require a whole lot of prep, or did you just kind of go and charm your way into it?
Yes, it was a lot of lines.
Okay, yeah.
pages upon pages.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And Lee is an amazing writer, so she wants to hear her words, you know, and I come from a very improv world and working with a lot of comedians. It's like, you know, the gist. No, but no, not with this. It was very, it was in a different gear than I'm used to doing. And I had to prepare. I was the most nervous, really even on set, because it was something different, like showing the vulnerability of myself that I haven't really shown in, you know, in a comedic way.
Yeah.
And so it was different. It was like putting on a new pair of shoes and getting the gears in. So I definitely had to prepare and I was nervous. And that's how I knew it was something really special. And we all were, as a cast, we all were like sharing each other's, you know, like anxieties and just like, oh my God, am I doing it right? And, you know, it's like, it's so different because when you're used to comedy in a way and it's like, ching, you know, I come from, you know, I've done a lot of multicam and so it's a different rhythm and no rhythm at all. It's just hard.
Yeah. What an exciting opportunity though.
Yes. Yeah, so I was very blessed to be a part of it.
I feel like just as a viewer, so humor me and share your opinion on this, but obviously it's following a group of girlfriends. They're living in and around New York, styled by Patricia Fields. Harlem specifically. So do you feel like comparisons to like Sex and the City are a fair comparison for this series?
Yeah. Oh my God, I will definitely take Sex and the City.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember growing up watching Sex and the City and going to New York. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Going to New York and like having a Sex and the City day and really looking like, please, somebody rob me.
Right.
Like going to the subway, swinging around the poles. Like, what are we doing? Like looking like an opening of, you know, Living Single. Like we just looked like, please rob us.
Yeah.
But we got through. But you know, the city was very monumental in my life and my fashion choices, you know, and of course working with Patricia Field and everything that she is. Devil Wears Prada, all of that stuff was just dream come true. And, you know, she was just so fun to work with. And she was like, I've been waiting to work with Black women, you know, Black
there you go.
Style. It's so particular.
Yeah.
You know, a character and her whole team were awesome.
That's awesome. And I appreciate the impression.
I can't talk about Patricia without doing Patricia.
Fair enough. I love it. Now you mentioned that you're originally from Baltimore. I know that you went to a performing arts high school. You later went to Cal Arts. So the performing arts, comedy, being on stage, that's been kind of your lifeblood for a while. But just considering Backstage, our audience is kind of the early career folks. Can you give us the walk down memory lane? How is it that you first got into the performing arts?
Well, I was working. Well, I got on my parents' nerves. Let's start there.
Start there. Okay.
Start there. And, you know, I started doing regional theater, you know, asking to, you know, do plays and things like that. And I would win, you know, I would just get the part. And so I started doing Twigs in Baltimore City and Baltimore School for the Arts, and really started honing my craft there. And working with professionals there, and meeting people that went to Cal Arts and meeting people that went to Juilliard and meeting people that, you know, and graduates from my school that had gone to those colleges and everything like that. So that was awesome. So my thought process was, I want to be in TV and film. So I need to play. And everybody in New York, since I had been doing regional theater and auditioning and things like that in New York, I knew the sass and the like who the little je ne sais quoi that I was already saturated in New York. You know, so I was like, I ain't seen it in LA. I ain't been to LA. Okay. And so that's how I chose Cal Arts. And Cal Arts is a very experimental theater program. So it was cool for me to get my foundational work from Baltimore School for the Arts. So I do say, if you are you know, it is, first of all, training is everything. You have
Right.
to train in order to be a successful actor and to have so many things that you can do in your arsenal of, you know, things that you want to do in your career. That's why you train, you know. So I was happy I got my foundational work at Baltimore School for the Arts and doing Stanislavski method and,
Mhm.
you know, all of those kind of things where I could get all of those things down. And then go to Cal Arts and just throw it out,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and just have fun and do improv and crawl on the floor and be a tree. And, you know, also they have an animation department because it's the Disney school.
Mhm.
Don't know this, but my first gig in LA was doing animation. They kept asking for, you know, the animators. I lived on the animator floor in the dorm,
Mhm.
and a lot of the animators were afraid to ask actors to be a part of their projects. So they would just ask each other to
Yeah.
voices. And so I heard them over talking. And it was like, oh, this girl got a sponsorship or some type of thing from Sesame Street. And she's looking for a little black boy voice. And I was like, oh, I could do a black boy voice. Like, that's
Yeah.
nothing. Like, you know, and I'm goofy. So I'm like, yeah, I could play around and do some shit that makes sense. And I went in and I did it. And my first gig was on Sesame Street. And that helped me get into a voiceover agency. And that was like done, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
Then on, I started building. So because I had that credit and I started working, like my first gig I booked, you know, just doing acting, you know, and it was dramatic. I was always the crying pregnant teenager.
Right. Yeah.
Pregnant and I have to be on food stamps, you know, Law and Order, they need all of that, you know.
Right. Of course.
Of course. So that helped me like get my footing in LA. And also while I was here doing voiceover work, I was doing Grand Theft Auto. I was doing background voices for a lot of things. So if I have to stress anything, and it's residual, okay? So if I
Mhm.
have to stress anything to new actors, don't just look at on camera work. Look at behind the camera. Look at so many other things that can make your gift stand out, because it might be one thing, it might be two things. I'm on a cartoon right now that's coming out on Fox,
Mhm.
uh, May 31st, Housebroken. And a lot of people don't know that I do, you know, cartoons, and I've been doing that
Yeah.
alongside. And when I haven't been able to book on camera work, my voiceover acting work, and I do loop group.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so get into the multiple streams.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
you got to do loop group. You know, there's checks in all of these areas. So if you want to work, you have to seek it out, and you have to really think about what you can do, like
Mhm.
outside of being on camera. So that would be my biggest advice, and I think I've never really had the opportunity to share that. Um, you know, just there's so many different avenues on how to, you know, take care of yourself and make money.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you kind of learned that firsthand very early on, being on the animation floor at Cal Arts.
Yes, like
Um,
you're just seeking. You're just how can I expand myself?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
With voiceover work specifically, our perspective here at Backstage, especially in the last year when a lot of the work was remote, a lot of it was virtual at home. Voiceover has seen
She was
such,
working. She
yeah,
was working.
exactly,
She was
exactly,
working. Okay.
yeah. So do you have like your own set up at home for voiceover work?
You know, it's weird. Every
Yeah.
time I try to set it up, it's it gets wonky. The computer isn't working. The best place for me to do my auditions is in my car
Hmm.
on my original cord on the iPhone, and I just edit on my phone. That's the
Yeah.
best way for me to do it.
Whatever works.
Or I do it in a coat hanging closet. I do it in the weirdest places. Hey, book me. We'll go in the studio.
There we go. There we go. With,
Okay.
with, with voiceover, you look at some of the work. You have your project coming up later this month. In addition to Run the World, is the technical process of acting, does it differ that much, or do you find yourself really doing similar character work and similar technique work that you would be doing if you were on camera?
It changes, you know,
Yeah.
like for so the difference of my character work for cartoons and voiceover between on camera,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hear the voice first. I find the voice, well, what helps me usually sometimes, if you're lucky, they have a drawing.
Hmm.
They already have in mind what they want. So that's already a clue. They already got the breakdown. They already know what they want. You just got to get in there and get it.
Hmm.
So if I bring up Nibbles, that's the show Housebroken that's going to be on Fox May
Hmm.
31st.
May 31st,
You
y'all.
know, we got some great actors on there. What's my baby name from Friends?
Oh, Phoebe. Lisa
Big,
Kudrow.
yeah, she on it. She play a dog. I play a crazy possessed hamster.
Hmm. Love it.
You know, like she's cute, but she's dangerous.
Hmm.
You know, and so I know I do a very good princess voice. So a lot of people, it's morning time, so I'm not, you know, when I talk up here, but usually it's like ding, 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 you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know I have to when I know that a character has a pitch that is very higher than mine,
Hmm.
you know, I can't eat spicy foods. You know, I have to prepare in those ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
You
a singer almost.
yeah, it is, you know, and I sing, and so because I sing, I know how to pitch my voice up.
Hmm.
So it's like when I'm talking like this and all of that, I'm right there, and so I know I can't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So it's like that's already getting me in the gear of doing my character work there. You know, because I'm already positioning myself to be in that place, to letting that person speak through me. And like, I'm eating for this person. I'm not drinking wine.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
like I'm doing the preparational work for the character. And then, yeah, I mean, it's very different. I mean, if it's doing like a strong, you know, character that they need for like a Star Wars or something like that, you know, that she's coming a little bit more grounded. Well, they're all grounded, but you know, she's coming with a little bit more oomph underneath the voice.
You're not playing a hamster.
I'm not playing a hamster. I'm playing an
Yeah.
actual person,
Yeah.
and she's got, you know, so the same way that I would take with the going in for like a CSI or for, you know, a officer or something like that. I would take in that same approach and the way that I say the lines and the sharpness of anything. So yeah, it's different. You know, I
Yeah.
just let the characters really just speak to me and I hear it and then I just do it.
Yeah, I love it. This has been a great kind of behind the scenes look on what your process looks like for both on camera and voiceover. I know we digressed a bit. So for our last question here.
I I'm just going with the flow. I'm like,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's all about. But for our last question, let's bring it back to Run the World again. Really excited for the rest of the world to see this. What are you most excited about to have Renee out in the world and celebrate this group of friends?
I mean, I'm mostly excited for women and men to see women being selfish.
Hmm.
Selfishly choosing their friends, their feelings, going to therapy, just to see representations of that on TV is very important. To see Black women being healthy, thinking healthily, also figuring it out healthily,
Hmm.
successfully, is very important. I live successfully and I ain't got my shit together, you know? So
Hmm. Hmm.
the more that we can relate to each other, the more that we can grow and live in a world together. So, you know, I feel like Black women need to see representations of themselves living beautifully in a city, supporting their communities and supporting their friends, loving on each other, lifting each other up,
Hmm.
going to the workplace, standing up for themselves, being selfish in their love relationships, letting them know what they need sexually. It's so many things that Renee is even teaching me
Hmm.
as Brie, you know, and how to set boundaries and know when to say no and how to say no.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm really excited to for women to be inspired and for men to be inspired. You know, it's awesome to see men especially Black men, you know, desiring Black women. I was inspired by that. I was like, wow, we're not just out here just not being suited, you know? And so I can't wait for women to see that and see in fighting to be in love with these women because they're amazing. So I love this show. I would watch the show even if I wasn't on it. I kind of am like amazed that it's happening to me, that I was in the right place at the right time, and God chose me to bring this character to life. So I just hope that everyone loves it and joins stars and watches it, and we can be a phenomenon like Sex in the City and so many other great shows that came before us, like Sex in the City, Living Single, Girl, all those shows that just make you feel good.
All of it. I love it. Well, this was great to pick your brain a little bit, get to know you. Congratulations on the new series, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Ben. And seriously, all you actors out there, keep going. Don't give up. I mean, I've been in this game for a long time, and this is one of the biggest roles I've ever had in my career. I've done film, I've done all these other things, and I've had major peaks in my career, but just remember, it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great to leave our readers with. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.